This boy is already 10 years old this year, but his mother Kim Kyun insists on bathing him and teases him for being so shy at such a young age. But she doesn't yet know how smart children are these days, apparently. He's doing his homework, but as soon as she's gone, he's eagerly picking up a book that he likes to read. You can understand what kind of book this is. This boy, Onam, became a woman addict in such young age. On the other side, his mother's life was very sad, just because of clumsiness. She met this beast through a blind date, and because she saw him as a civil servant, she entrusted her life to him. But after only 2 years of marriage, he fell in love with someone else and ran away. To support her son, Onam, she worked as a housekeeper, a waitress, and even as a cleaner, cleaning the toilets. She was not even shy of cleaning men's toilets, fortunately. She learned the craft of driving a car, started a rental car. But one day, she realized that she had neglected her son, that his wounds had fallen off at random, and that he even had chewing gum stuck in his hair. But when she asked him what had happened, he would always say that he had done it by accident. But she didn't know that he had been bullied by his classmates at school, and that he didn't even know how to put up a fight. So over time, he had become more withdrawn and less talkative. And she also noticed that he didn't like to talk much. So she made up her mind to use the money she had saved to open a restaurant. And finally, after working very hard, she opened one of her own restaurants, another woman next to her restaurant used to run her own restaurant, and there was always a fight between the two. She used to do a lot to raise her son, but she didn't realize that his character had begun to change. Time went by, and he graduated from school and started working in the society. Mother was still pampering him like when he was a child, and he even had to ask her what he wore. But as the days went on, Onam was having weird mindset. For the first time, he suggested to his mother that he wanted to move out to live alone. Mother gets angry and tried to convince him no to do so, but he did not refute it, as he had already made up his mind, and the son had already moved out for a month. Mother still made delicious food and delivered him, but when she arrived at the door of his house, she called her son to ask for the door lock code, as she thought that her son asked her to put things at the door, and Mother was angry, but she still put things at the door. But he didn't let his mother enter the house. The reason why he didn't let her mother in is because he's grown up and has a favorite one that everyone understands. He's celebrating his own birthday, and there's a Barbie doll in front of him with a gift in her hand, but Onam is acting as if she was a real person, and that gift is his favorite. Kim Kyun thinks that her son will realize his mistake and he will come back. But after half a month of that, the son doesn't call her mother, and Mother thought that she had raised a white wolf, so she just let him go. But she was so upset. She didn't know the password of the door lock. So she asked the police to open the door for free, but she didn't expect that police will cover nose as soon as they entered the house. The smell was so penetrating that even the mother couldn't help but hold her nose. But suddenly the mother was shocked by the scene in front of her. She found her son's sex doll in his apartment. But that was not worst it. In the fridge of the apartment, she discovers a dead body, which shocks her so much that she faints. The news is covered by the news channels, and when Kim regains consciousness in the hospital, she asks the two officers if the body in the fridge is her son's. They tell her they haven't figured out who the person is yet. This relaxes Kim a little, as at least her son isn't dead, but the two officers suspect that maybe Mr. Onam killed the person. Kim becomes furious because she believes her son could never do such a thing. The officers head to the office where her son worked and question the employees. One girl says the last time she saw him was when Mami left the job. Another employee told officers that Onam did not talk to anyone, but her friend Mami had shared with her that he harassed her by staring her. The officers also visit Mami's apartment. The landlady tells them that the girl left a long time ago and mentions that the girl might have had plastic surgery. When the officers ask if the girl ever brought her boyfriend home, the landlady says no, but she used to play loud music and dance. It's 2009, and Mami is 27 years old. Mami was always bullied because of her ugly face by her friends since her childhood. She always has dreamed to become a superstar, but now finds herself trapped in an ordinary life. She works a corporate job, but still holds on to the desire to be praised by others. Mr. Onam is a section chief in Mami's office, but he's always on his own, living a double life, either at the office or in his rented apartment. So it's only in his apartment where he can find himself. In addition to his self-improvement, he enjoys watching live girls' broadcasts even carnivals, which have led to the hostesses thanking him for his work. But then he discovered a big secret. The hostess's green fingernails looked familiar. He remembered that her female colleague Mami also wore the same nails and the same black texture on her hands when she submitted information to him, and she was the ugliest woman Mami in the company. After finding out who she was, he didn't expose her, but instead, he hurried to go home every day just to catch her show that Mr. Onam fall in love with Mami. But the Mami always wore a mask to cover up her face, and netizens would find her mysterious and would want to see her face. Every night, she dances during her live streams. The next day, she returns to the office, and her colleague asked her, "Your face looks so tired. Are you working another part-time job?" But Mami denies it. At the office, a co-worker named Aryum tries to impress their seniors by working hard, and everyone praises her beauty. Office male employees comment that even the person making coffee matters. Mami and her colleague exchange messages, remarking how their seniors don't realize they are sexually harassing Aryum. Eventually, Song snaps, fed up with the harassment, and calls out the men. One of the employees even shows their boss, Mr. Park, an adult website, bragging about how popular it is these days. Song thinks to herself, "These men are so disgusting, watching live streams to entertain themselves." Mami tries to downplay it, saying, "These videos aren't that bad." After work, Mr. Park excuses himself from an office dinner, saying he needs to get back to his family. Mami also excuses herself, mentioning that her mother is coming over. She asks Mr. Park if he could give her a ride home since they live in the same direction. They share a taxi, and during the ride, Mr. Park receives a call from his wife, assuring her that he is coming home alone. Hearing this, Mami feels both flustered and hopeful. She thinks Mr. Park have feelings for her. Later, as Mami heads home on the metro, she can't stop thinking about Mr. Park's words. Why did he say he was alone? Does he like me? She wonders, laughing to herself. She shares this story with her live stream audience, asking them what it could mean that Mr. Park claimed he was alone while she was with him. Some people started to agree with her that he should be interested in you. Mami was waiting for this remark, but someone told her that she was dreaming in her sleep, but every word said was remembered by someone. He knew who she was talking about. It was Mr. Onam, the section chief of the company, who had planned to propose her. The next day, in the office, Mami and Song are scrolling through Mr. Park's social media posts when their boss scolds Aryum for a mistake she made at work. After work, Mami goes to console Aryum, sharing her frustrations about her strict boss. On her way out, she realizes she left her ID card at the office and returns to find Mr. Park having an affair with Aryum, the same co-worker she was being harassed by. Her heart breaks as she realizes that Mr. Park isn't the man she thought he was. Devastated, when she got home, she grabbed a bottle of wine from the icebox and started pouring it down. Then she instinctively put on a mask and started dancing, drunk, and she took off her clothes, and the comment section exploded. The spectators naturally knew that she had been drinking for the Mr. Park. Even Mr. Onam was watching the Masked Girls broadcast, and he spends all night watching him again and again. When this happened that Mr. Onam could not hold himself, he felt bad about the masked girl stripping herself. The next morning, Mr. Onam went to the office and shouted on Mami that she should forget about Mr. Park, and he loves her. Mami also said that she also loved him and she kissed him, but it was just Mr. Onam daydream. As she discovers that her account has been suspended, filled with shame and regret, she blames herself for everything that has happened. Seeking comfort, Mami meets with her friends from a different department. She hesitates at first, but eventually reveals the truth about Mr. Park's affair with Aryum. The news spreads like wildfire throughout the office, and soon everyone is gossiping about Mr. Park and Aryum. Some people even speculate that Aryum might be pregnant. One night, Mami sees Mr. Park drunk outside the office and decides to help him, taking him to a hotel. The next morning, he silently leaves the hotel. Back at the office, Song informs Mami that Mr. Park has resigned, and Aryum has been transferred to another location. Just then, Mami receives an email saying, "I know who Masked Girl is." Terrified, she rushes to the bathroom, overwhelmed with fear. On her way home, she sends Mr. Park a message saying she needs to meet him, but as she was traveling in metro, a man touches her from behind. "Why did you touch me?" "You touched my butt," she yells, accusing the man of harassment. A fight breaks out, and she drags him to the police station to file a report, accusing him of being the one who sent her the email. The man denies everything, claiming he would never touch a woman like her. In a fit of rage, Mami slaps him, shouting that he's the one blackmailing her. The police suggest they settle the matter quietly, reminding her that she's also in trouble for drinking. Left with no choice, Mami drops the case. Later, she returns home and stares at her suspended account, feeling utterly defeated. But one user, Once Upon a Prince, is still online. They start chatting, and Mami soon realizes that this user is none other than Mr. Onam, a quiet worker from her office. But Mr. Onam kept on leaving messages that a person with a devilish body would look good in any shape or form. He heard the anchor Mami praising him for his intelligence, and that was all it took for him to fall in love with her. And from that moment on, he lost himself and went down the path of no return. One day when Mami was dating a guy, Mr. Onam followed her. The guy forced Mami to put off her mask and have dinner. Initially, she was reluctant, but afterwards she agreed the guy appreciated her beauty, that by this Mami felt out of the world as she had gotten appreciation the guy was not sincere. With Mami, he posted on his Twitter that he had met the masked girl, and she is horrible. Meanwhile, the guy asked Mami to go in the hotel room, and he will come. The guy tried to rape him in a fight to save herself. Mami pushed him and his head banged. He was died. As Mami checked the phone to call police, she saw Mr. Onam message who was following her. She called him to the hotel and explained him. Mr. Onam told her that you will go to jail as you come along the guy yourself. He asked Mami to escape, and Mr. Onam planned to dismember the body and pack it in the suitcase as he tried. He found that man was still alive, so he stabbed him multiple times to death. Next morning, Mr. Onam found that Mami had left the job. So he asked the HR officer to give him Mami's address. He reached Mami's house and banged the door several times, but she did not open. When he reached home, he found that masked girl had announced her last stream. He went out of control and again went to Mami's house. This time she opened the door. Things get clear that he used to chat with her from Prince ID, and he was one who sent her email. When Mr. Onam found himself losing, he attempted to force himself on Mami. As he uncovers that Mami has done a face surgery, she killed him. On the other side, media covers the story, showing that Kim's son had a sex toy at home, and many illegal adult videos were found on his computer. Some psychologists claim that her son was not normal and had an unhealthy obsession with sex. Seeing all this makes Kim very angry, as she believes her son was innocent and would never be interested in such things. Kim returns to her son's apartment and asks a computer expert to unlock her son's computer. The wallpaper is a picture of masked girl, which shocks and embarrassed her. Since she doesn't know how to use the computer and wants to solve the mystery behind her son's disappearance, she decides to learn how to use it. After that, she comes home and checks her son's computer, and she gets the masked girl's account and starts searching that if she wants to find her son. Then this girl must have been found first. She knew that the girl's name is Mami. Kim get a lot of money withdrawn from her bank account. She searched that another boy named Teddy wants to find a masked girl. She starts talking to the boy, and the boy replies that he knows a girl who is probably a masked girl. The girl was dancing outside a mall, but Kim says she seems to have a completely different face. The boy told Kim masked girl may have had plastic surgery. At night, the two police officers called Kim. She reaches the mortuary. Seeing her son's dead body, she was broken. Her son is gone for whom she worked so hard. It is said in the news channel that the Mami may be behind Mr. Onam murder. After the funeral, Kim reaches Mamis's house, but the maid of the house goes and tells Kim that Madam has broken up with her daughter many years ago, that Madam also does not know where her daughter is right now, nor does she want to know, so she cannot help you. Seeing her mother has come to the balcony, Kim starts screaming very loudly and says that to come out. So the maid of the house calls the police that Kim was brought to the police station where an officer warns her not to go to Mami's house again. If you go, we will be forced to arrest you. After getting home, Kim talked to Teddy again, and Kim thinks the masked girl may have fled the country. One day, Kim's 3 friends have come to meet her, and she is very fond of her son. She starts praising her son very much, that my son was the best son in the world. And she cried, and her friends handle her. From her friends, she has found out about a woman who has answered to every question. She goes to the woman and asks her where Mami is. The woman tells her that she is in West. Kim says, so she should find the whole West now. Tell me exactly where she is while offering a huge sum of money. After which the woman tells Kim Mommy's location. After reaching there, she found that this place is exactly the same where the girl was dancing. She goes to the event company, for whom the Mommy works, and a man recognizes Mommy and told that her name is Yami, and she is left. Maybe she must have found a good job that Kim searched for her day and night, that eventually she found her outside a hotel. She tried to get in, but the watchman did not get her inside. She told him that she is her daughter, and the watchman laughed. Kim waited in her car all night. She disguised herself as a taxi driver, and one night, give her a ride on the way, she give her a shock, and she faints. She took her deep in forest and show her Mr. Onam picture and asked to know him. But the girl refused. Kim told her that she has done a surgery, and she is Mommy, while showing her Mask Girl poster. The girl told that her name is Chuan, and she asked Kim for where did she get this, but I know the Mask Girl. Subscribe if you want to watch part 2.